Hello all you chorus members, Choir Maestro here, and today we are taking another crack at Foundation. Something happened in my last save and the save file was corrupted, so we're going to be starting a new game, but I thought it'd be interesting to have this be kind of a beginner's tutorial. So now the main difference between the three different types of maps, you've got Coastal, which is a coast obviously, Fluvial, which is a river, and Hills, which generally just has lakes. So I find it the most interesting to do fluvial maps because I like the river running through it. Just a little bit of realism, honestly. But I think I'm going to switch it up today and I'm actually going to go for hills. And right off the bat, I actually kind of like this that we've got going on. So I'm thinking that I might do that. However, let's just re-roll this a couple of times and see what we get. We can always go back. I'm kind of liking the look of this one. I see a castle or monastery up here. I see the village center being somewhere down in the middle, although that'll depend when we get in game. So here's the map seed if you want to follow along. But let's go ahead and jump right in. Alright, and so we have a new beginning. After a long journey throughout the realm, your people finally reach new lands. Your lands. Territories you were asked to settle for reasons of your own. Your villagers await your command. They are eager to advise your first steps if you require so. I'm going to go ahead and follow along with this. I do have quite a few hours in it, but let's follow along for the sake of this. It does give you some free territories and things like that out of it, so let's hear the advice. So choose your first territory. It comes from the eldest of your villagers. He suggests you consider basic needs when settling down: berries, stone, and wood. Good advice. Let's put it into practice. So I like to generally look for where you're going to be in proximity to these. These are important because you'll be able to find things like iron and marble and gems, or rather quartz. So we can see that there's quite a few of them over here on this side. That makes me lean a little bit towards this, even though it is quite a ways away from this hill that I want to get to. Doing it this proximity would allow us to have mines relatively close and have a higher chance of getting all of those minerals. So I think we're going to go with this, but let's take a look around. This is a pretty nice big square plot of land, but I don't like how thin that one is. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking if we aren't going to start over here, I'm kind of thinking that this plot right here is going to be our best bet. Now, we're going to have the stonecutter's hut kind of down here. That makes me think maybe we'll do industry here, and then we'll do our market with our housing kind of around over here abouts. But we'll be able to have log cutting, we'll be able to have hunting. So I think this is a good start. And you can see mineral deposits were discovered nearby. That's going to be talking about all of these things that I was talking about. You can click on it and it'll tell you what to do. So now it wants us to place our village center. So that's going to be down here under the build menu. And we're just going to take a look at where we think we want the absolute center of our village to be. So I'm kind of thinking maybe over here we've got a nice little opening here that I can cut some more wood off or down to make it bigger, or over here this direction. Generally speaking, your village center does not have to actually be the center of your village. It's just kind of a cosmetic thing if you want it to be. The only thing that I'm thinking about over here is I wouldn't want to put a ton of housing close to these rocks just in case there are mineable resources there that we want. So I think in this case I'm gonna put the village center maybe right about here. So we can see organizing work. The second piece of advice comes from a young enterprising villager. Rather than simply letting everyone fend for themselves, she suggests you organize laborers in workplaces. Builders in their workshops, woodcutters at their lumber mills, lumber camp, berry gatherers at their hut, and so on. So let's do that. It wants us to place the builder's hut down. So that's right here under build. You can now see that we've got the builder's hut unlocked. Now you can rotate. It tells you down here in the bottom right, you can rotate by holding control and dragging horizontally with your mouse. So I'm going to rotate this and pop it just about, let's go with here. We've got that place. Assigning a builder. Very easy. Just click the plus sign. We're going to assign just one for now, although we will probably be increasing that very soon. Now it wants us to build a lumber camp right down here in the build menu. You've got the lumber camp. You can see the resources needed for this are 2 tools with an upfront cost of 10. That's gold. So that's going to be right up here. We have 450 out of 500. And then right here we can see our resources. These are our villagers, their happiness, how many we have unemployed. And then these are just handy little things that will take you to different things in your buildings like paint zone issues, storage full, etc. We'll get into progression later. We don't have anything to do with that right now, so I'll talk about that later. But let's go ahead and place this lumber camp down. So I think to start off with, I'm just going to place this right here. Doesn't really matter which way. You can see when you get close, you can see these little arrows. This indicates where people will be entering the camp or whatever from. So we want to make sure that's not being blocked by like another building, for example. So let's go ahead and build this. It'll take a little bit of time for our builder to get up there. So in the meantime, let's paint our extraction zone. As we can read here, allows wood cutting, stone cutting, and berry gathering. So again, in the bottom right here, you can use P and L to increase and decrease. So let's make the brush a little bit bigger. And we're just going to paint all of this for now, because we will eventually want all of this space open for building and things like that. All right, and now let's accelerate time just a little bit while we wait for this lumber camp. We can see Margarita is bringing 2 tools. Let's watch that. And one thing I kind of like about this game is the organic path building. So you can kind of see it here as villagers will walk to and from their destination. They will just naturally make the pathway kind of come up and go wherever they're going to go. I like to do my buildings around that and kind of just let them do their own thing, go where they want to go, build their pathways. You can specifically say, like, if I don't want them to build a pathway over these rocks, for example, I could click that there and then they won't enter this area and they'll just go around it. But I don't mind, so I'm just going to go ahead and remove that. Now our lumber camp is built. Let's go ahead and assign 1 to here for now. Actually, let's assign 2 for now. Lumber is going to be our primary source of construction material at first, so we really want to get them kind of situated and get them producing early. So I'm liking the hills back here. It's going to make for some interesting building later. Sorry about my cat in the background. Okay, now we can see that they've got advice. My people are hungry. They have to acquire berries. So now we have the gathering hut down here. Now you can place up to 2 gathering huts per berry deposit and it'll be fine. So let's just place 1 for now because we're not gonna want to waste too many resources at first. Alright, and the gathering hut is built, so let's go ahead and assign 2 villagers to that for now. We'll be increasing that to 3 very shortly, but for now 2 is fine. And there we can see they are gathering their berries with their little hats. I love it. And can I just say really quick while we're looking at this, I love the art style of this game. It is so just cute and adorable, and I love the way that they've done it. Now they're glitching into each other. You can see this little guy over here, woodcutter. He's got a woodcutter's axe. They do automatically change their appearance based on the job they are assigned to. So you can see the woodcutters have axes, the gatherers have their little hats and baskets on their backs, and then the builders will carry around a hammer. Not sure where our builder is. There they are, right here. You can see her hand. Okay, needs and happiness. Now that you've organized your laborers, you can see their needs and happiness. Make sure they have access to fresh water and housing. As for food, you will first need people to store and distribute the berries they collected. So let's put this advice into practice. Build a granary, assign a new transporter, and assign berries to a granary. Granaries are very useful. You want to have a granary near your marketplaces. That will allow you to have, which we'll get into marketplaces in a little bit, but that'll allow you to have a centralized location near your markets and your housing where you have all of your food. For now, the only food we have is berries, but we'll notice, wait a minute, we need stone, and we are not producing stone. You can see the stone right here, so we're going to go ahead and place a stonecutter's camp. Now, this little circle is something I haven't talked about. This is the undesirability circle. There is a factor of desirability for residential, that really impacts whether or not people are happy living there. Ideally, you would want no residential. Since we don't have residential, it doesn't really matter, although I don't want to start just placing these things randomly. So I like to keep them close by. I'm going to place the Stonecutters camp here. And then we have one last thing that we were able to place. That is the Forester camp. Plants, trees, and reforestation zones. These are very useful. One Forester's camp is enough to supply 4 woodcutters, meaning 2 camps at 2 or 1 at 3, 1 at 1. But we're able to replant the trees so that we don't run out. Now, that will be something we get into later, but for now, I want them to actually cut down all of the trees so we can build things. So, I'm not going to worry about the Forester's hut for now. As you can see, just glancing around, there's plenty of wood that we will not have to worry about, probably ever. So for now, we're just going to let it do its thing. And then here we can see that the Stonecutter camp is being built. And actually, while they're building that, I want to get some residential placed down. Oh, I can't do that yet. Okay, but I'm going to buy my first territory here. I want to place my residential kind of around my village center here. So in order to do that, we need to purchase this. Now, you do have free territory at the beginning. Now we can see this has an upkeep increase of 5 gold per month. So we don't want to just go crazy buying things until we're generating some gold. But you do get 2 free territories at the beginning of the game. And then doing this advice quest chain, I guess you could call it, will give you another free territory to claim. So, alright, Stonecutter camp is built. Let's assign 2 villagers to that for now. And remember to have your stone and berries, but it's already in. Have your stone in an extraction zone, otherwise it will not work. Okay, and we're going to accelerate time here a little bit. It will take them a little while to get that stone. So I'm just going to sit here while the granary builds and wait till we complete this quest. Alright, and the granary is built, so now we can assign a transporter to it. And then down here you can see we've got 4 options along with 4 options on the side here. For now we're not going to mess with anything on the side, but we do have refuse, stock maximum, and empty stock. Those are beneficial depending on what you're doing. For now we're going to just assign the berries and just have them on accept. And we got 100 gold for that, so that's nice. Now we can see housing insufficient up here. Painting houses, defining residences. So this is one of my favorite things about the game. To zone residential, it's exactly like painting your extraction zones. You just click on this little button here and you paint, and that's it. So we're just going to paint a nice sizable little area here at first, and we're going to just let them do their thing. And you can see we've already got a house popped up here. So you don't want to do this at first because it does take a lot of wood, and wood is an early resource that is a little harder to come by. So along with housing, villagers have other needs. We can see up here if we hover over the happiness meter, housing minus 15%, that'll be fixed with the houses we're building. Food minus 50%, even though we have food, people won't just directly eat it. We actually need a marketplace. And then water minus 25%. So if I go in here, we have both the market and the well. The well is necessary to provide water, and market's necessary to provide food and goods. For the well, villagers will go pretty far to get a drink, but you want it close to both their house and workplace. So we're going to place it right about, I think maybe here near the granary. And then while I'm in here, I want to extend this residential just around the other side of our village center. So we can see they already built some housing there. So next we're going to place the market. So we'll get this little like pole. This is going to indicate the middle of the zone in which you build your market. It doesn't have to be any specific area, so we're just going to put it right here in the middle of the village center, and then it'll pop up with this little sub menu. So We have a building overview. This will be the overview of the entire thing, a parts list, which we're not going to mess with right now, and then the edit building section. This is how we do all of our monument buildings and things like that. So we're going to click on the market stall, food stall rather, and we're going to place 1 for now. You can place the market tents, although I would advise against it. We only have tin cloth to start, and that tin cloth is not going to be easy to reobtain for a while. So we're just going to start with it like this, and we're going to go ahead and click build. And it's going to take them just a little bit to get that built. We can go ahead and prioritize this, and I think we're going to, just so that they build it before they finish building all of these houses. So let's go ahead and get that, and then we're just going to accelerate some time here while they build it. And there we have it, the marketplace is built, so let's re-click on this, and now in the building overview we have some options available to us. We can assign a resource to our stall, but more importantly we can assign a worker. Now you do need a worker here, as you can see there's a little stool back there. So we're just going to go ahead and add somebody onto that. And then the resource we're going to assign, we can only assign berries for now, but eventually that'll be upgraded to both fish and meat. So let's go ahead and assign those berries. And then the market tender, who is Gerhaus, she is going to go to the granary, which we've got just over here. She's going to go to the granary, get some berries, I believe 10 of them, and she will stock it. Now, while we've got this menu open, talking about fulfilling villager needs, if you click on a villager, you can see a lot of information about them. So we can see her class level is serf, what her job is, how far her workplace is from her home. That's going to be important later. We can see the essential needs and additional needs. So the essential needs are water, food, and housing. Water and housing are being taken care of, but if you notice, food says 0 of 2. We need to actually provide 2 food sources to our people in order for them to have that need fulfilled and be truly happy. So with our current situation, we would have to purchase a territory, which we do actually have a free territory, so that could be worth doing. And I'm kind of thinking of purchasing this territory right here. We can see that there's fish down here, so we can build a fisher's hut. And then I would like to leave this forest mostly untouched and see about doing some hunting down the line. So let's go ahead and pull the trigger now. We can see that the upkeep on this is 5 per month. It makes it free to purchase, but not free to upkeep. So we will have to keep that in mind. However, I know that we're going to relatively soon here be making money through trade routes, so I'm not too concerned about that for now. Let's go ahead and purchase that territory. And then in our progression menu, so if you click here on the book, there is a whole host of information you can do here, including villagers, buildings, resources, the economy. This is where we'll unlock trade routes. And progression. This is the important one. So this is how we unlock additional features and facets of the civilization as we increase our prosperity. So initially, warehouses are a very viable thing to unlock, but they do take planks, and we are not producing planks at the moment. We've got the wooden bridge, which also takes planks, fishing, butchering, which takes planks for the butchery to make meat. And then decorative. This will be important later, but for now we're just going to unlock fishing. We can see it takes 25 gold. We've got 375, so I'm not too concerned about that. And then now you can see we have another resource up here of fish, as well as fisher's hut down here. So same way that you rotate all the other buildings, we're going to control and click. I would like for this to be relatively close to the fish so that they don't have to go super far away to get to it. And we can see part of the building must be on water, so we're just going to have it sticking out a little bit there. It'll take 20 logs, but we've got 50. I'm not too concerned about that. And then we are going to prioritize this so that they get that built before these houses over here. So while that's being worked on, let's go ahead and increase the size of our market stall. We're going to add another stall just right here next to the berries. That's going to house our fish. But we're going to pause that construction for now because we're not even producing fish, so there's no point in having it be able to be sold. Now, before I forget, I'm going to come in here to our granary and go ahead and assign fish to this, because I do sometimes forget to assign the new resources. This will allow our transporter to go and grab the fish from the fisher's hut once that's built, and then eventually sell it to our market. So let's go ahead and pass some time while the fisher's hut gets built. I'm going to be assigning our final villager here to the fisher's hut. However, we do have assign a job. We have advice down here encouraging immigration. Assign a job to all your villagers. We're almost there. Raise the happiness of your village to 75, currently 58. We can see under happiness we no longer have water as a problem, and that's because that well was built right here. And it does have an infinite source of water, and you can build them anywhere. So if you need to build another one, if you have a village center that appears, for example, over here, or over by the mining hubs, wherever they are, there they are, over by the mining hubs, you want to build another well, but for now, we just need the one. So as far as raising the happiness, we mostly need to worry about food, and that's going to come from providing a variety of food to our villagers. So let's accelerate some time here while we wait for the fisher's hut to be built. And there we have it, the fisher's hut is built. Let's go ahead and assign a villager to that so that we can start producing fish. We now have all of our villagers assigned, so we just need to raise the happiness. So now all we have to do is just sit here and wait. I went ahead and unpaused that so that we can get somebody assigned to there. In order to do that, I would just need to remove somebody from one of these other jobs over here, like one from the forager or one from the lumber camp. I don't really want to do that, but until we have the ability to have immigration, which happens once we complete this advice, then we'll be able to worry about filling some of these positions with more people. But for the time being, I can just take somebody from one of these other jobs. It's not a big deal. It is valid to talk about people do have skill levels in their professions, and so you don't want to move people around too much. But in the early game, it's not really that big of a deal. So let's go ahead and accelerate some time and wait for everything to get built, and I will see you guys when we're there. Alright, market changes are complete, so quick pause here. We're going to remove one of our woodcutters. Let's do leftward. That sounds good to me. So we're gonna, not assign. We're gonna unassign him using that little X there. It'll take a little bit for him to finish up what he's doing, because if they're in the middle of a task, instead of just stopping the task, we can see him over here. He's gonna finish chopping that tree, dropping off his resources so that you don't lose anything. And that's quite a nice touch, honestly. So once we have leftward available there, we are gonna assign him to this market. Let's go ahead and assign fish. We can see we have 24 here, 24 in storage. That would be in our granary. So once we've got that person available, and there we go, we can assign him to that market stall, and he will now start selling fish. That'll satisfy the food need that we have there. And then our housing need is being slowly filled by these houses being built around our village center here. So I'm just going to accelerate some time, and let's get all of these houses built. I will see you when it's done. And there we have profiting from trade and immigration. Business-minded villagers suggest you establish a trade route with your closest neighbor, Northbury. This will let you sell resources. Let's put this advice into practice. So this is where it wants us to purchase the warehouse. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And then now let's take a look at resources and trade routes. It should default to that. Northbury here. We can buy tools from them, which is very important because we can't produce those till later. We can buy cloth, berry brews, honey, wax, candle, common wares, and barrels. And we can sell to them berries, polished stone, planks, wine, herbs, gold ore, gold bars, and meat. So this is actually quite handy because we do not need 100 plus berries. We don't have the villager capacity for that. So we just need to be able to sell this in excess, or sell our excess to them. Now, really quickly, we can see we have a new little indicator up here, immigration high. Happiness and employment impact that, and then you can see what the frequency is, like the next time that people are going to be coming in. Off on the side of the screen here, we can actually see we've got 2 people coming in that we'll be able to recruit, and that is very, very nice, very lovely to see. So in the meantime, let's take a look down here. So we've got the warehouse, we've got the sawmill, those are brand new things. The sawmill produces 2 planks for 2 wood and employs serfs or hire. Upfront cost of 10 gold, which we have 312, so I'm not worried about that, but it does have an upkeep of 1, so that's important to remember. Let's go ahead and really quickly, you do have a time limit on when you're able to accept them. You can see down here there's 3 days remaining, so let's go ahead and accept those 2 people. They're going to go purchase some food, get some water, and then they will probably be building a new house, I'm going to guess here. So let's go ahead, place the sawmill down. Now this has the same undesirability factor, so we're going to want to have this away from our residential. I'm going to place this for now just right next to the lumber camp. Eventually that lumber camp will be moving, and probably so will this sawmill, but for now we'll do it right there. That'll take them a little bit of time to build. We can see this house is upgrading. It's getting an upgrade to the occupancy. And then last but definitely not least, we are going to place down a warehouse. Now this is a little bit of a larger item, so we're going to place it, I think, right about here. Now you can see that this needs 15 planks, not wood, so this will have to wait until our sawmill is up and operational. So in the meantime, so that they don't waste any of the other resources, we're going to place the blueprint and then immediately pause it. That will make it so that they can focus on this sawmill and the houses rather than trying to take resources to the warehouse. Okay, and so our sawmill is built, and we've got now 6 population. I'm going to go ahead and assign a full 3 cutters to the lumber camp, and then I'm going to assign just 1 person to the sawmill for now. I will go ahead and also assign 1 extra forager here now that I've got a little bit more population, and I will come back when I've got the warehouse built. And so I just got another 4 villagers. I don't know if I'm going to actually keep them. Let's think about this. So I do need to get the forester's hut down eventually, but for now I'm not worried about it because we're going to want to just cut down all of the trees everywhere. I will eventually also need more population for bailiffs. I think I'll take just 1 of these 4. It's always something to consider, but you don't have to take these people. More will always come, and if you take more people than you have the resources to supply, then you're going to have a bad time. So, and now that the warehouse is built, we can see that it is very similar to the granary. You have to assign resources to it. For now, we're going to assign planks, tools, wood, and stone. The tools and planks are so that we can allow for trading of those, and the wood and stone is just to allow us to stockpile resources whenever we're not building anything. And then of course we need to assign somebody to it. We're just going to assign 1 for now. We can see we've got 4 more people coming in here. I told you more would come back. But we've got this planning a trade route. Unlock a trade route and trade planks. Allow the sale of planks from the trade resources. So we do need 20 planks for that. So unlocked. Now we're going to set our resources to sell berries above... let's see here. Let's say above 100 will sell. There is a limited capacity in the amount that traders are able to purchase, but that's fine. Then we're going to come down here. We're going to sell herbs eventually, but we're not worried about that too much. Planks we're going to sell if we're over 20. That's just so that we can have a stockpile for some construction. And for now, polished stone will be set to 0. We can't even make polished stone, but I know that that's going to be the next thing we're able to do, so... While we've got this book open, let's take a look at that. Stonemason Hut employs Commoner Plus, so that is a new tier of villager, and something that we will be able to do very shortly. Now we've got new advice here. Come to you, a light-hearted woman announcing she and her folks would like to thank you for your hard work. It's true that you've made great strides already. To administrate the village, she suggests you build a manor house and great hall. This will let you enact mandates. Let's put that into practice. So building the manor house is going to be pretty similar, or if not identical, to the marketplace. You start with this little pole that just kind of denotes the general area in which you're going to build. I think I'd like to build my manor house maybe all the way over here. It'll be kind of in the center of a future village, so we'll just place it here. Now we can see this menu pops up, add a sub-building. Currently we only have the Great Halls, and then there's also free builds, but currently we just have the Great Halls, so let's click on that. We can see there's a whole bunch of things that pop up. First things first, we have these rooms that are available to us. So let's see what this looks like. Now that red center in the middle is indicating whether or not they have interior access, and I'll get to that in a minute. So let's just go ahead and place that there for now. You can see it's a nice solid little starting building. And then we've got this rustic tower here. I like to include the rustic tower. You certainly don't have to. And then let's just increase this up a little bit. So it's a nice tower there. And then actually I want to rotate it. There we go. Now for the interactive location, this is going to be whenever you get those couriers or anything like that, they'll come to this spot instead of your village center. I'd like to have that just right about here, I think. And then last but not least, we've got the door. We're going to place that, I think, right here on the tower. I kind of like the look of that. So we're going to place that right there. So you enter into the tower before you go in here. I could imagine it's like a guard tower or something. And let's go ahead and place a chimney. Alright, we can see that's going to take 35 planks, 27 stone, and 10 tools. It will take a very long time for us to get all of that. We currently have no planks. So I'm going to accelerate time a little bit here and probably just bring you guys back once this is built. And just while they're building this, I think I'm going to go ahead and add an extra builder onto the builder's workshop. That'll just help expedite this a little bit faster so that 2 people can be working on it instead of 1. And there is the common path of busy tier unlocked. So this unlocks the beginning of prosperity for us. So if we open up the prosperity tab by clicking up here, or sorry, progression tab by clicking up here, you can see that we've now got all of these things down here unlocked. I mentioned earlier about the stonemason hut. We aren't going to be able to quite build that yet, and there's no point unlocking it right now. The first thing I actually want to unlock anyway is the bailiff office, and I'll get to why that is when we have commoners. So now that I'm producing more berries, I see my supply climbing a little bit. I would like to see, and I have planks, I would like to see about getting the butchery and hunting lodge set up. So I'm going to go ahead and go into progression and unlock butchering there, and this only takes serfs, so it's pretty nice that way. If you remember from earlier, I said I was going to use this forest for hunting, so let's go ahead and place the hunter's lodge here. Now you want that to be somewhat in proximity to where they're going to be hunting, but it doesn't matter too much, so we're going to place it there. And then let's go ahead and place the butchery. Now this is going to be an undesirable building as well, so we're going to place this near our sawmill. And then in here, in our granary, we're going to go ahead and assign meat to this as well. That final resource will be bread, so we're not too worried about that for now because that's going to be a little ways from now. You can see that we can technically do it now, but it does require commoners to bake the bread, and it requires a lot of serfs to get all the farms set up and everything, so we're just not going to mess with that for right now. I am going to go ahead and unlock the stonemason hut now, though, because I do see ourselves very soon getting our first commoner. And then we're also going to unlock the decorations. That's going to be required for us to upgrade our houses into the ones that house commoners. So with those things purchased, let's go ahead and get back out here. They're making nice progress on the manor house, and they're almost finished with it. You can see it says no resources to extract. That's because with the second gathering hut that I've added, they're technically running out of berries, but it's still producing more than is consuming. So I just need to expand sooner rather than later. I will probably see about purchasing this territory or this one here possibly. Let's see. Yeah, I'll probably purchase this one, not right now, but I will look at that in the near future to go ahead and get some more gathering huts up, and then I'll probably start building another little town with a market square here for the population over there. So I will come back very shortly. Actually, let's just wait here and see if this gets built. I'm going to accelerate time. Labor prospect here. Advice, ruling on your own. You take a stroll through the village and look at what you achieved. Not so long ago this land was wilderness, but you came along and made the difference. You and your people turned this untamed territory into a respectable land of the realm. And this is just the beginning, for your fair rule will bring prosperity to all. To our prosperity. So now we're not going to have, we'll still have advice. Like you can see down here, we have a bunch of advice. So we've got mandating the bailiff, let's have a bailiff, and then it tells you to complete a specific task. Promoting villagers, let's get you a promotion. Decorating the village, it wants you to build specific things. So you'll still get these advices to kind of guide you and help you, but hopefully this video helped. I am gonna leave it here for now, and in the next episode we're gonna take a look at getting the service need, which we now have, as well as take a deeper look at prospect and all of that stuff. But until then, I hope you guys remember to always see the music and everything, and I will talk to you later.